Nausicaä of the Valley of the Wind is a potent film. It commands us to reflect upon ourselves, our technology, and our relationship with nature. Its imagery is distinctive and evokes an illicit atmosphere for the world the film is set in. Alien, almost prehistoric-like insects, mutated landscapes, ancient technology, death, war, disease, militarism, apocalyptic, even biblical themes, all set to a hauntingly beautiful score by Joe Hisaishi. The title of this video is The Horror of Nausicaä, and by that I do not mean that Nausicaä is a horror movie. It is not. Instead, I am referring to the same horror that Marlon Brando's character speaks of in Apocalypse Now. The horror. The horror of war, the horror of death, the horror of pain, the horror of life. This is the horror of Nausicaä. One of the film's most notable aspects is the setting, an unrecognisable wasteland, yet it is also captivating with its mystique. The melted wax-like mountain range of Pegite, the sea of decay that bears closer resemblance to the appearance of enlarged fungi than any recognisable vegetation, or the fossilised undergrowth beneath the sea of decay. This is a dead planet, a rotten planet, and Miyazaki lets us know that we killed it. The opening scene with Lord Yuppie in the decaying village shows plainly the result of living in such a malign environment. The following credits appear as an ancient tapestry, filled with mythological or biblical imagery, accompanied by a melancholy composition. It is a brilliant start to the film. It captures your attention with its striking visuals, whilst at the same time setting the tone for the entire film. We see demons destroying the world, magical creatures, and towards the end, a winged figure, an angel. The film is rich with religious references and symbolism. The 9 giant warriors, along with the 7 days of fire, could have been taken straight from the pages of the Book of Revelation, bringing about Armageddon. But we are never really sure where exactly they come from. In the film they are described as descending from the most evil tribe on earth. We know nothing else. What purpose were they meant to serve? How exactly did they come into existence? The answers do not matter, as they destroyed the earth regardless. But it is precisely these unanswerable questions that makes them feel so disturbing. We cannot understand them. Ambiguity is one of Miyazaki's greatest assets. He presents his worlds so richly that we become so familiar with them, we live inside his movies. As a result, the parts he never revealed to us stick out. They ask us questions that burn into us. Another notable example being the Omu. What are they? What connection do they have to the Sea of Decay? Are they simply powerful beasts, or something greater, intelligence to match or suppress our own? Or even deities themselves? This is Miyazaki's genius. Whilst the film is ultimately an uplifting one, it is one of Miyazaki's darkest creations. The world itself, along with its inhabitants, are hostile, and there is constant reminder of suffering. Invasion, disaster, slavery, disease, war, the film is plagued with it. In contrast to today, where humans are masters of the planet, able to control the environment or landscape at their will, the humans that inhabit the setting of Nausicaä are at the mercy of the environment. Nature is incarnate in the insects that inhabit the Sea of Decay. These insects prey upon the humans, slowly driving them closer and closer to extinction, whilst at the same time the remaining population of humans, beset with tribalism, fight over the last remaining resources. But Miyazaki does not fetishize war or violence in his films. Instead, he is a stern advocate for pacifism. Miyazaki was born in 1941. He grew up in a country that would be utterly ravaged by the horrors of World War II. Japan was both the perpetrator in addition to the victim of crimes against humanity, and the psyche of the country was forever changed by the war, with the work of those who lived through this period reflecting their experiences. Miyazaki himself has stated that he remembers clearly the devastating fire bombings of Japan. The reason for Miyazaki's environmentalism, especially in this film, can partly be traced to the industrialization of Japan, which occurred during his lifetime. In order to escape the economic ruin of World War II, Japan turned to deregulated capitalism, the result of which was increased pollution along with environmental damage, most notably the mercury poisoning of Minamata Bay from a chemical factory, resulting in the deaths of almost 2,000 people. In this future that Miyazaki has imagined, the outlook for our species seems bleak, with our annihilation inevitable either by the hand of nature, our own hand, or a combination. Our end will come. And yet salvation can be found in those with a kind heart. But Nausicaä is more than just a kind woman who teaches others to be good. She is the Messiah. Prophesied to rid the world of sin, Nausicaä eventually sacrifices herself to prevent the destruction of humankind, and is subsequently resurrected, after which she brings about the Messianic age, as seen in the film's ending credit sequence. There is still beauty in this world, and Miyazaki tells us that eventually life will be restored. The fossilized trees under the Sea of Decay have always struck me. To me, their ability to detoxify the earth so that life can begin again was very powerful. Either these trees miraculously inhabit a specific niche in the ecosystem that they have evolved to fill through natural selection, or perhaps they are something greater. The fact that they are dead trees seems to suggest that they have not evolved for the purpose of healing the planet. Instead, I see the trees as an intelligence. They know how to restore the balance to the ecosystem and use their corpses to do so. The trees seem like ancient spirits, far older and wiser than we can guess. They inhabit a realm we cannot see, and when Nausicaä and Asbel appear to be consumed at the bottom of the sea of decaying quicksand, it is as if they have died and awake in a version of heaven, devoid of human corruption or interference. It is eternally peaceful, as one would imagine heaven would feel. The recurring use of religious themes does pose a question of why they are in the film. Indeed, they add to the film's distinct flavour, but I think there is another factor as well. Many Miyazaki films feature religious tones, however this mostly comes in the form of Shinto religion, yet Nausicaa's ending is noticeably Christian. Miyazaki's mother died whilst the film was being created, and this may have influenced the way in which the story ends. The manga is noticeable for diverging from the film with an entirely different ending, and is certainly worth reading. For me, there is a moment in the film that eclipses all others, and it is this moment that I believe the film and its characters revolve around. I believe that Nausicaä is a film about warning us of our impact on the environment, but it is also something more. It is a film teaching us about humans, about what we believe and what we do. It's a movie fundamentally about the nuclear bomb. References to the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki are somewhat of a motif in a Miyazaki film. But no other movie of his places so much emphasis on the concept. The giant warrior is the bomb, and the different kingdoms race to have control over the weapon. The power to destroy the world. Their militarism is an arms race to see who can destroy the other first. The film was made during the Ronald Reagan presidency, which saw tensions during the Cold War escalate further, most notably with the Soviet-Afghan War. The film shows us the logical conclusion of this race towards mutually assured destruction. Nausicaä is not just an anti-war film, it is anti-nuclear, a stance Miyazaki has maintained for decades. However, despite the fact that both Miyazaki and Nausicaä were forced to live in a world where pain and cruelty are inescapable, Miyazaki has stated that he does not carry personal trauma from his childhood. He has not used his work as a way to cope with or explain a deep-rooted psychological experience from his past. Instead, his movies are universal more than personal. They reach out and touch all those who watch them. They speak a truth we all can understand. The film's devastation equates to a universal suffering we must all endure, the suffering of living. Whether it is a country along with its people that is brought to its knees by war, the loss of those we love, or the fleeting beauty of the blossom on the cherry tree being blown away by the wind. Life cannot always be good. Hardship will be encountered. If life is filled with suffering, and the human race is doomed to commit such acts of wickedness, where do we fit in? What part are we to play? What are we to do in a cruel world? Miyazaki tells us we cannot despair. Instead, we must live. In his own words, if you ask whether the scars can be healed, no. These are things that must be endured. There is no healing. You just have to endure.